All right. Hey, everybody. Hello. Happy Friday. Happy Halloween weekend. Hope y'all are doing good. Hello. Just looking at making sure everything's working the way it's supposed to. So I was like, okay, hoping having some issues today. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, family. Thank you. How you guys doing today? Y'all ready for the weekend? So I'm glad Halloween is on Sunday this week. I mean, this year, just because I don't work Halloween. People every year people request or want me to like do stuff on Halloween. I'm like, I don't work Halloweens. And people are always like, what? You don't work Halloween? I was like, yeah, I don't work Halloweens. I was like, I don't believe in working on Halloween. So I was like, people think like, oh, you know, it's like the time of the year where I should be working. No, I don't think so. I was like, for me, it's like a statement, I guess. I'm making a statement where, because for me, Halloween is a kind of like a day of phenomena where a lot of the energy in the ether is like very mixed. So you got a lot of people who they're just about getting like a kick or getting something, so that they can, you know, have an experience, while you have other people who are serious about the work. And I never really, back in like the early days when I first started my business, I worked events and parties and such like that. And since then, after some time, I take my work too seriously to work a party or to work an event. And when I feel like I work a party, I've always felt like I was just like a magic trick, or I was like a clown performing in a circus. So like years ago, I made a decision that I wasn't going to do any parties or events, because usually whenever I would work those types of events, I was just a laugh. Like people would just use me as like entertainment or as a laugh, or they just, you know, it wasn't taken seriously, and I didn't appreciate that. So I made a decision. I was like, I ain't doing no more parties. So every year when you get people who ask me to work an event or want me to, you know, do sessions and such, I'm like, I ain't doing it. I'm like, no, I don't want to. It's like, I don't want to. And like, how would you feel if you were like, for me, asking a professional psychic medium to work a party is like asking a therapist to work a party. It's like, would you go and ask a counselor or a therapist or a grief counselor to go and work at an event or party? No, it's kind of like a disrespect. So I've never really cared for it. I was like, I don't know. So that's why I don't do events anymore and I don't do parties. That's just the way I am. People are like, what? You know, it's like, yeah, I don't have to. Like, you know, I do well enough with my business. I don't have to work parties. I know a lot of psychics and mediums that still do, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with doing that if you're comfortable with that. But I've always never felt appreciated, or never felt like people appreciated the work and my effort and everything that I have to pour into my practice and my skills to be able to do this. And so it was never fully appreciated. So I was like, no, I ain't doing it anymore. I ain't a goddamn clown of a circus. I'm a damn professional psychic and a medium. It takes a lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of energy, and I take my work very seriously. So granted, I can be an entertaining personality, and I definitely can make people laugh. And so if I ever decided to want to be like a what is it, MC or something like that, then that's definitely an option. But no, I don't think so. I'm working a damn party. So how y'all doing this weekend? Y'all have any plans for Halloween? I did like Halloween stuff when I was a kid. So I just got back from my walk, y'all, so I'm getting my energy right so I can do readings and such. So give me a minute so I can catch up to myself. But yeah, I used to like do like stuff when I was a kid. The last time I did anything for Halloween was back in Houston, when I lived at my house in Houston. And I was the cat in a hat. It's funny, the year that Mama Cat came in too, I think a month after she popped into the picture, I was like, so the month before I was the cat in a hat, which is a black and white cat with her, and then Mama Cat showed up a month later, which is interestingly synchronous, because she's a black and white. She's a tuxedo cat, just like Dr. Seuss's cat. So that was cool. But that was the last time I did anything, and I was the cat in a hat. I was gonna go and get a outfit, and I just hadn't made time. And then and that was back when I was still working at Starbucks. So I still had, I was still a manager, and I still had really good relationships with my customers. And one of them was like, hey, would you be interested in a costume? He's like, I had one last year and I just didn't want it to go to waste. And I spent, you know, some money on it. And I was like, yeah, I'll take it, you know. And it turned out to be the cat in a hat. And I thought it was hysterical. I was like, okay. So that was the last time I ever really got dressed up or did anything. And then I sat at the front porch and we, like, you know, my friend Sophia, who also was one of my employees, she came over and hung out with me, and I was playing like, like music on the front porch. I was sitting in my rocking chair and I had my candy. I was ready to give out candy to people. But it's in the hood because my old house was in the hood, even though it's a really pretty house, but it's in the hood. And so you don't have as many kids going, trick-or-treating in the hood. They all go to the nice neighborhood because they know that's where they're going to get their damn candy. So we didn't get as many candy, but that's okay. I enjoyed it. But that was the last time I really did anything for Halloween. Now, every year for Halloween, I just like, unless I was in Houston and my family were going to do something, I just kind of hang out. And the week leading up to Halloween, I watched like a bunch of movies. So I always watch the classics, Yesterday I watched Hocus Pocus, Casper, that's one of my old favorites, the Hocus Pocus. So I was posting stuff yesterday as well. And then a few days ago we watched all the Jaws movies, and then we also watched, what was it? There was another one that we watched as well. And then I'm planning, I think, not tomorrow, but on Sunday, Halloween, I'm going to be watching Halloween because that's one of my all-time classics that I have to watch, which is funny because I don't like horror or gore in any way, shape, or form, which is why I love Halloween so much, because there's really not a lot of gore, and it's all just like mental games with your mind. Like it's a suggestive horror movie where it's not technically showing you like the violent, gory acts, which is the type of movies I prefer. So, and I know my partner hates it because he can deal with gore, he can deal with that. I don't do well with any films or movies that have like gore or guts spilling out, like, scream. I can't do it. I just can't do it. And I think part of it is, and I always wondered because, and I would always ask Asha, like, why do I feel so much emotional like energy when I watch those kinds of movies, as if it's really happening, even though these are movies and actors pretending that this is happening. And what I was told is that these actors and actresses, they actually spend a lot of time practicing and mentally stepping into those roles, into those mindsets, into that energy. So when they're acting on screen, it's not just a person pretending to do something. A lot of these individuals actually spend time kind of getting into a character. And so even though it's on film, the experience, the emotional experience and the violent thoughts and all of that is being expressed in the moment of act is very real. So I'm picking up on all of that. And because I'm an empath by default, which means I automatically pick up on like emotional energy from people, that's why I react so much to it. It's like, it makes perfect sense. I didn't realize that. But yeah, I don't watch gore. But Halloween, I definitely watch. Halloween 1, I love. I can watch that over and over again. And which is funny because Michael Myers was like the scariest thing when I was a kid. And even now, like when I have a nightmare, Michael Myers is usually in it. He's like he's the archetype. He's the representative for me in my mind of like a scary, challenging, or frightening experience. So he represents that in my dreams. So sometimes I'll have dreams where he's around and I'm like trying to get away, or I'm trying to deal with him. There are some dreams where I faced him or I like challenged him. So definitely a step up from when I was a kid, for sure. So, all right, guys, I'm just like rambling about, I'm not really like, I'm not really, reading yet, but hey, let's get started, right? Because I'm not expecting a whole lot of people to be on the live tonight, just because I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to be going to parties and going to events tonight and doing stuff. So that's okay. So I might just take more of my time. I may not rush through this, but let's get through it, okay? So for those of you who are new, this is your chance to ask me whatever questions you want to ask me about. I have an agreement with God or the universe that I'm going to offer my ability to those who need and those who are requiring of its use. And so here I am. I'm fulfilling my part of it. And I do this twice a week. For those of you who don't know how often I do this twice a week. So I do the lives and then I also do the study group. If the day ever arrives where I don't have to work for a living, then you will probably see a lot more lives for free, just because I can use that energy and do more of these. So that way I can just do it. So if you want to ask me about your life, you can ask me what you want to know. Be specific with your questions, y'all, because vague questions or general questions, which means I want a reading, which is not a question, or can I get a love reading, which is not a question, or what do you see for me, which is not a question, can I get a message, which is not a question. Those are not questions. Those are just statements. So you need to be specific with your question. So what do you see for health for me? That is not really a specific question. That is just a general question. I need you to be specific, not vague, not general. So you want to know about your health. What exactly are you asking me about? So if, like, for example, you've got a procedure coming up and you want to know, what do I think about it? Or if you're having some issues with your health, what do I feel about it? Like, be specific with your actual question so that I know what specifically you wanting to know. Because when people ask me, what do I see? Literally, like, this is what my entire readings, my 4 readings are designed around, is to structure it so I can cover all my bases. I don't have time to do that here. So I just need y'all to get to it so I can get to it for you and then move on to the next person. If you want to connect with the loved one in spirit, I will warn you a little bit to y'all today. I am a little tired today just because I had an extra mediumship appointment today. And I intentionally limit the amount of mediumship sessions I do in a week, because every single mediumship session is very draining for me. And today I had an extra one, so I got a little drained. So I'm trying to get my energy back. So I might get there, because whenever I start doing these lives, my energy starts to come back up. So hopefully I'll have enough to really do enough mediumship sessions. But still, ask me away. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. But go ahead and ask your questions. If you want to connect with the loved one in spirit, who do you want to connect with? And let me know. And then that way I can intend to connect with that individual and bring through any messages or any information or signs to look out for. If you want to come on camera with me, which is the best way to get more specific connection with your loved one, you got to do it on Instagram, just because that's where I do all of the videos, the calls. So get over to Instagram, and if you're on Instagram, right at the bottom right there is a little camera, a little box with a cross in it. And if you click that, you can request to be a guest, and it'll let me know, because whenever I'm ready to pick people for video, I will click that. It opens it up and shows me a list of all the people who've requested. That's what I go off of. If you just say it on the comments, like, pick me, I'm not going to see you. So you need to like request it right there, because that's the best approach to take for me. Okay. What else? If you want to know more about me, just go to my site, fernandomaron.com. Everything you need to know is on there. A lot of people tend to reach out because they want sessions with me. And I get it. I understand that. But like, if you message me or if you try to email, like, that's a waste of time. Just go to the site. Everything is on there. Like, you can like book an appointment. You can, find out what do I offer, the pricing, the availability, all of that stuff. It's all on my website. If you just want to keep coming back here every week, there's no problem with that. Keep coming back. I have no problem with that. My podcast, my articles, my Dear Fernies, all of that is available through my website as well. What else? I think that's it. I think that's all I have to say. I think that's all I have to say. I think that's all I need to tell y'all, right? Oh, and today's Friday. Remember, guys, every Friday I donate intentionally and I make it public. And I know people are always like, you shouldn't brag about donations or helping people. I'm like, this is not about that. But if you want to make it about that, that's your problem. I do it to set an example for everybody, because if people who follow me see me donating every single Friday to a organization that is focused on basic human needs like healthcare or like food, like shelter, children, animals, human rights or equal rights. Like, those are my primary focuses. So I do this every Friday. I donate and I post my receipts, because I don't like people who say one thing but don't do it. I try to say one thing and stick to it as closely as I can, and then show you my proof for the receipts. So I post that every single Friday, not to get a thank you from you, but just to kind of give you a kick in the ass so you can go and do it yourself, because most people get paid on Fridays or every other Friday. And so it's an opportunity to donate, even if it's 20 or 25 bucks to something that might help another human being. It's important to practice compassion and to give. Because not only is it just the right thing to do, but also the world is changing, and a lot of the negativity and a lot of the craziness of this world can be healed or can be recovered or can just be improved by those of us taking little steps every single day in our lives, or just on a regular basis, to send love into the world, to do it through action, through intention, through effort. And people like to walk around and spout off and talk about spirituality and love and light and ascension, but they don't do a damn thing to raise their hand and help another human being. So this is your chance to help another human being. Use it as an example and donate something to a charity that you feel comfortable with. If you don't have the time to go, and people have lives, sometimes they don't have the time to go and help physically in person, but they can donate 10, 20, 25 bucks, So take the example and do it yourself as well, and then challenge somebody else to do it as well, so that way that they can also do it. So just FYI with that, okay? All right, guys. So I'm going to jump around in here. I'm not going in any particular order. Chanel, I thought Chanel was in here. So, Scolazo. Hey, Ferny, what's the best time to put my 2 weeks at my current job? Well, I can't tell you what to do, so I'm going to tell you when you should, but I'm going to tell you when I think you will. I actually think that you will put in your 2 weeks in 2 weeks. So I actually think that in 2 weeks, you're going to put in your 2 weeks, or you're going to start the process of letting them know you're not going to stay there for very long. And I think part of it has to do with the fact that there's someone else coming into the scene, or someone else that may pop into the situation at work and may cause you just like basically motivate you to like go ahead and just do it. So I think that's what's going to end up happening. Okay. Stephanie, hi Franny, going through my second divorce, will I find a committed, lasting love? When? What will his age be? What will he be like? So let's clarify some of that there, because I already, just by reading your questions, I already know that there are some issues with the energy that you're putting out and with what you're sustaining within yourself, because I don't want you to have to go through a third divorce. So I feel like, and by the way, I do believe that you'll have at least like up to 4 or 5 different opportunities in this lifetime to be able to settle down and have a life with somebody. So it's not like you're going to have it's not like it's going to be scarce for you to be able to connect and build a life with somebody. It's just a matter of like, what kind of energy do you want to deal with? A couple of things. One is, love is lasting. Whenever we go into any relationship, even if the relationship, fails or bombs and it just blew up in our faces, that doesn't mean that the love ever stopped. It just means that the relationship wasn't going to work. That's what it means. So love is always with you. I still have love for my ex. I still have love from other relationships in my past. That's never gone away. The love is always there. So an enduring love, all love is enduring. There's no like shortage of love. If someone wasn't able to express love consistently, it's probably because they were not having love. They were just experiencing something that was probably obsession or being attached to, or neediness, or being obsessed with an idea about the person. But as far as you and your situation is concerned, I do think there will be 2 opportunities coming up for you within a year's time. So I want you to kind of be aware and not rush, because I feel that within a year, within 12 months, you're going to have 2 opportunities. One might come as early as like February or March. The second one may come, I want to say, around like August-ish, so it's like in the middle of the year. But both opportunities honestly do not feel like long-term potential. It just feels like bridges. What I mean by that is, sometimes when we get out of a relationship, especially a marriage, we need a bridge. We need something that can help us to kind of get past the pain and the trauma of actually having a marriage, end. And so I think that these would just be that. They would just be like opportunities for you to cross over. However, the problem that I think you might run into with one of them is that one of these individuals feels like they're a little bit like in a rush, or they may kind of want to go very quickly. And I would be very concerned for you if you start making life changes and start planning a new wedding within 3 to 4 months of the first opportunity, or within one of these people. So, and then you end up like digging yourself into a hole, buying a store's worth of wine, and then realize that the wine's shit. So I wouldn't buy the wine. I would just, sample and sample and sample until you get to something that you need to work on. I would suggest actually taking a year off of relationships and just focus on getting comfortable with being not in a relationship. That doesn't mean you can't date, or you can't be, have, interactions with other people, or love for people, or sex. That doesn't mean I'm saying you should do that. I'm just saying I would take a year off of just not intending to be in a relationship, and just to kind of regroup and resettle and get right with yourself. Because if you don't know who you are before you go into a marriage, you're going to lose yourself to the marriage. And then all of a sudden the marriage or any relationship starts off on the wrong footing. And then you're going to find yourself just really not building something on solid ground. And I don't want you to keep doing that. So I would suggest taking a year off from intentionally trying to be in a relationship. Enjoy your time with people, have sex, have fun, do whatever you want, but just don't intend to want to get into a serious connection. Just let it be what it's going to be, and that's it. And then if something starts to show up and evolve on its own, then follow the lead of the energy. Don't push it to turn into something. One of the individuals that might come up in the next year's name starts with a CH, like a Chris, actually. So it's a Chris sounding name. I also think that this person's about 3 years younger than you. So they're a little younger than you. Okay. Barbie Pansky. Hey, Ferny, I have never met any of my six bio siblings. When do you see me, if ever, getting to meet any of them? XXOO. Thank you, Mama. I actually think you might meet two of the siblings, but I feel like you might have the easiest time or the best time either meeting the second to the youngest or the youngest of the siblings. I want to say that you might actually have an opportunity to connect with one of them. I'm not sure if it's meeting in person, but I would say connecting like through internet or whatnot, in about 2 years and 2 months. There's also a tie to California, so keep an eye out for I keep seeing the Bay Area, so it wouldn't surprise me if there's records out of California or out of the Bay Area, or someone's got a tie to the Bay Area that might give you an opportunity to connect with one of them. Okay. Marcium82. Hi, Ferny. I would love to connect with my husband, Chris. Yeah, so the first thing he's showing me is he's showing me a ring. So I don't know if you still have his ring, but I feel like I'm taking a ring and then I'm adding to it, or I'm putting two pieces together because I want to describe it in that way. He also keeps, thank you. He also keeps, he's drawing on my skin. So there either might be a tattoo that's connected to him, or there might be a bracelet that's got like a name or inscription on it, because I want to draw my, I want to draw on my wrist. So there's something there that he's making reference to as well. He also keeps, thank you. I don't know if you still have his sunglasses, or you sometimes wear old sunglasses or glasses, but I'm seeing something like that as well. So he's acknowledging that. He also keeps acknowledging the 23rd. So the 23rd of a month may be significant, or February the 3rd might be connected. He is also acknowledging the number 11. I want to say the 11th, which is next month. So the month of November or the 11th of a month may also be connected. Okay. Cassandra Rango. Hi, Ferny. Is there a reason why I'm going through so much intense anxiety lately? Will it ever get better? What do I need to do to help? I want you to get your hormones checked and also check your thyroid function. Just because, oh my God, my BFF is like, my BFF is over here. I love Karen. So I want you to get your thyroid checked, and also, I want you to get your thyroid checked and also get your hormones checked, because I feel like something's going on biologically. Some of the anxiety or some of what you're feeling doesn't feel like it's just like life stuff. It almost feels biological, actually. So you might want to check that, okay? I do think it'll get better in about 7 months, but I feel like you might have to either address it with a medication or with changes to your lifestyle that can offset some of the deficiencies that you might be dealing with. Because, again, there might be a deficiency that's affecting the thyroid. Let's see. Family 3K Mama. Ferny, do I have a gift in tarot? And I would love to know my guardian angel's name. I feel our connection. So here's the thing with tarot. Tarot is just a tool. It's like someone asking me, Ferny, do I have a gift with hammers? And I was like, well, yeah, if you want to build stuff, you could definitely have a gift with hammers, but it's just a tool. So tarot is just a tool. It's not the be all end all. I know a lot of people, get really obsessed with tarot. The thing here's my issue with tarot. I'm going to tell you my issue with tarot. Not that I have anything against using tarot, but what I've seen over and over and over again with people that I know who have incredible psychic skill sets is that they rely too heavily on tarot, and they never take the risk of just relying on their own intuition. In other words, the ability that we have is in here, not on a piece of paper. And so if you are going to develop your psychic ability, tarot is a great starting point. It's a great way to use it as a tool to amplify your ability to tune in and sense things. And if you love and enjoy the art form, by all means, go at it. I actually think tarot is beautiful. A lot of these decks are gorgeous, and people really sometimes have this connection, it's almost like it's like part of them, but they've learned to respect it as a trigger for their intuition, not a dependency for their intuition. So don't depend on the tarot for your own psychic ability. It is just a trigger for your own psychic ability. But that's the problem that I've run into with people, is that a lot of people that I know tend to become so dependent on tarot that they are not willing to take the risk and push themselves outside of their comfort zone. And the reason why is because you can always blame the tarot for what you sense. And if you don't get something correctly, you can always blame the tarot. You don't take responsibility for it. I don't have that luxury. I am who I am and I see what I see. And if I misinterpret or I am mistaken in how I understood what I sense, that's on my ass, and I have to own that. I can't blame the tarot for that, and I do own it. I don't shy away from whenever I'm not right or whenever I mess up in the way that I sense something. So, but that's the thing. It's a very empowering thing to do when you can get to a point in your own psychic development to own your mistakes and to own your misinterpretations, and still know that you're still very psychic, you're still very attuned, but you just got to get better at those subtleties so that you don't make as many mistakes. Over time, you just get better and better and you get more refined. But don't depend so much on the tarot. But if you want to start there, I would say go for it. It's a great starting point. Okay. As far as your angels, here's the thing with names. Here's the thing with names. And again, angels and guides are two separate things. There are angels that are mentioned and that are explained in like biblical texts and in ancient texts and different religious belief systems, but that isn't always consistent, because it changes with every single generation. It changes with the author. It changes with whoever's talking about it. And so you have angels, which from what I understand and from what I've been told by Aja, is that angels are a pure form of energy. They're a pure form of love energy or of spirit energy. So it's not a spirit like a person or a personality. It is just a pure form of energy. And there are levels of this energy. So whenever you think of like the different angels or archangels or whatever, those are just like basic bitch representations for these levels of energy. But people are obsessed with angels, and I get it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a beautiful concept, and people do see these things. But they always assume that that's the way it is, versus our culture has conditioned us to accept the energy and interpret it in this way. So when it shows up, it looks like this thing with wings. So we think that all angels always in their purest form look like these things with wings, but that's just a representation that's conditioned into us, and our filters catch onto the energy and then give us that. And that's what we think it is. So it's a kind of like a, what goes first, the chicken or the egg with that. So angels are just pure forms of energy. They're not people. They're not personalities. They are not individuals. They're just pure forms of energy. You can call it whatever you want, though, if it makes you feel better, but that's on you. Guides are what you're talking about when you're talking about like my guardian angels. And our guides are there from the beginning. Well, our main guide is there from the start of our experience here on in this planet and in this carnation to the end of our life, our main guide. And then we have secondary guides or alternates, which come in during periods in our experience as humans where we kind of are trying to work through something, and a guide comes in to help us with that process or to gain for their experience as well. Because they're like, basically, I always think of guides as like lazy people, because they don't want to go out and do something themselves. They would rather just do it from a distance because they've had enough of it. So guides are usually people who are like, hey, I don't really feel like being born and having to deal with like the physical condition, because it's hard, it's not easy. So I'm going to pick someone who's going to do it, and then I'm going to ride along with them, and then we can kind of work with each other. That's what a guide is. So think of a guide as like a taxi driver. Think of a guide as like a non-physical therapist. Their job is not to help us from ourselves, or their job is not to save us from ourselves or to save us from life. Their job is simply to help to influence us so that we can stick to some of the experiences we've decided on a soul level to have in this incarnation. That's the guide's job. And then they gain from that experience as well. So, and if you want to know your guide's name, here's how you can do it. Every night before you go to sleep, imagine that there's a room in your head. Just pretend there's a room. There's no light. There's nothing in the room except in the middle, there's a chair. And on the chair, it's got title, guide, spirit guide. And every night before you go to sleep, just say, hey, and just talk to whoever you think is listening. Just say, hey, I would like to know your name, or give me a name that I can work with. And so if you want to visit me in my dreams, I will take it. If not, then just, bring me the name through some sort of like obvious sign. And go to sleep thinking that way, and imagine that you're like sitting with your guide. And if you do it enough, the intention starts to get a charge, and then you'll get it. My guide's name is Kathleen. I originally thought it was Catherine, because that's what I originally thought it was. But then she corrected me and said it's not Catherine, it's Kathleen. So she corrected me. But sometimes when people ask me what their guide's name, I will tell them, but I'm only giving them a representation of the energy. They can actually get more accurate with the names, because again, I'm not always the most accurate with the name, but I'm giving them the best version of the name that I'm getting from when I'm tuning in. Okay, so I'm going to let you see if you can get the name of your own guide. And then if you don't get it within a week or two, then come back and ask me, and then I'll give you a name. Okay. Ferny, Jimenez, G or Jai or G or Yibanes. 24. Fernie, I have an appointment tomorrow. Is there a surprise in our session? I don't know. I'm not sure what you mean by a surprise in our session. I'm pretty consistent. People, sometimes people will expect something out of the ordinary for their session, which I don't know if that's what you're meaning by that, or and so whenever I just do my thing, they're like, is there anything else? I was like, what do you want? Like if you booked a live reading and I specifically go through the 4 areas of your live reading, then that's what I'm going to cover. I'm not going to like stop and say, hey, I know you booked this, but I'm going to go somewhere else. Every now and then I might have something come through that's really strong that I have to say it in the moment, but I'm really good at keeping myself. Like if someone orders a Big Mac, I'm going to give them a Big Mac. And if they get mad that I didn't give them a Whopper, I'm like, I'm sorry, but you ordered a Big Mac. That's what my business is based on, is consistency. So I'm about the consistency. So I don't know what you mean by that, but tell me tomorrow what you meant by that, or what you mean. But we should be fine. We should be good. Jenny, Fernie, thank you. If I don't see butterflies, does that mean my mom isn't with me? No, it does not mean that your mom is with you, that your mom is not with you. Butterflies is just a symbol. It's just a sign. There are, and I've encountered this a lot with clients where I mention to them a sign and they're like, no, I haven't seen that. But then like, I'm consistent. I'm like, no, like they're being pushy about this. And then they actually think back and then they realize, oh, I didn't realize that was a sign. So like sometimes a butterfly doesn't have to be like a living butterfly. Sometimes it can be something as simple as like you having a thought about your mother, or having a thought, and then someone sends you a card that's got a butterfly on it, or someone, or you're like, you turn on the TV and then right there's a butterfly on the show. Like there are many ways that they can bring us those signs. They don't have to be with living beings. It's a lot of different ways that can come about. So what I would say to you is your mom is acknowledging the butterfly symbol. So that is going to be a sign from her, but also feathers, because feathers are also wings, which is a part of it as well. So look out for butterflies, look out for feathers, because they're going to be a sign from her. She also keeps, it's funny because I keep thinking of like a nutty candy. So I don't know if there's a special nutty candy that she enjoyed, or there's like, it's either nutty candy or it's like weird because I'm seeing liquid or fluid, but then I want to like dip something, but she's showing me something like this. So there might be something like this that either she really enjoyed, or that is something that she either that, or you were having something like that today or yesterday and she saw you doing it and then she mentioned it. So anyway, this is what happened with a client earlier today, where her grandmother came through. And she's like, I'm like, your grandmother's showing me like chili, like, because when I think I like beans in my chili, so that's just me. Some people don't. Some people just don't like beans in chili. But I kept seeing something that reminded me of chili with beans. And her grandmother was showing me this, and she kept showing like it being stirred at the stove. And I told her, I said, did she have like a thing for chili, or did she make a special kind of chili? And she was like, no. And I was like, so then I was like, okay. Sometimes whenever they tell me and I try to confirm it with the client and they're not, grabbing it. Sometimes it's because I don't want to spend too much time on one specific thing. I will say, okay, look, I'm just going to say, there's something about chili. So check into it, because there might be something there for chili. So sometimes when I make that decision and then I pull back and I let go and I move on to the next message or the next piece, they will repeat it in my head, which means, nope, you missed it. Go back and try again. And I'm like, okay. So then at that point, I have to help that person really understand what I'm talking about. So then I went back and I told her, I was like, she's talking about this. So either you were just making chili, or you were just doing something that had to do with some sort of chili, because she's showing me this like pot with, and so she was like, well, I did make red beans and rice last night. And I was like, okay. I'm like, well, that's possible, but and what was repeated, she repeated again in my head and showed me this bowl or this like thing. I was like, okay, and I said, okay, but do you keep it separate? Do you make it as separate and you don't mix it until the last minute? And she was like, yeah, I do. And I was like, okay. I was like, okay. So she's giving me that. And then her grandmother said something, that there was a change to the recipe, or there was something different about the last batch of chili or the last time. And so the client was like, yeah, actually, I normally make it with with real beans, or with, I usually make it with like beans from scratch, but I just was in a rush and I bought a can of beans and I used that instead, but I never do that. And so, so her grandmother was correct. So what her grandmother was telling me essentially was, tell her that I know she was making the chili thing yesterday, and that I know she changed the recipe because of whatever she was doing, and that I know she doesn't mix it to the last minute, and I saw her. And that's what her grandmother was trying to tell me. But because it comes in bits and pieces, I'm only able to like get it one piece at a time. It's like, I'm only going to give you one puzzle piece. I can't give you the entire set of puzzle so you can see the whole picture. You're only allowed to get one piece and then put that down, and then here's another piece, and if you want to put those pieces together or see if they work, then so be it. But if they don't work, then they don't work. But that's how it works. So sometimes the symbols are there, or the signs are there, you just may not be realizing it because your expectation for how it's supposed to look, which is like a living butterfly. And by the way, it could also be a white moth, because I'm also seeing a white moth or a white butterfly looking moth. So just FYI with that. But yeah, it would be something like that. Don't be obsessed with me, y'all. Don't be obsessed with me. I know people were like, yeah, I'm obsessed. Like, no, never be obsessed about another human being, period. Like, if you're obsessed with somebody, it's not because they're that incredible. Granted, I have skills, but don't be obsessed with me. Use me as a reminder that what I possess and what I can do, you can do also. And so you're not obsessed with me, you're obsessed with what I'm capable of doing, which is only just a reflection of what you're capable of doing too. Use it as that, okay? Go over here. Okay, so here's an example of a very general question. What can you tell me about my loved ones? That's too general, too vague. I have no idea what you're asking me. So if we were going to sit and do a reading, then I would go into like a reading for you. If we were going to connect with the loved one in spirit, then we could go that way. But that is way too general. It's not going to help me to get you any information from a specific person. Don't assume that as soon as I open up to them, that the person you want to talk to who has the one sign you're waiting for is going to automatically come through at first. Because the moment I open up to a crowd of people, whether you love that person or not, that love is not going to distinguish that person from the crowd. They're literally going to be a mix of people. So you got to be specific in intention, so that way I can focus my attention on one specific person, because that helps me. Like if you say, well, it has to be the purple person, the purple. Okay, well, let me keep my eye on the purple. And so I'm intentionally trying to connect with the purple person, even though I'm seeing a stream of color. So you got to be intentional with who you want to connect with. Unless we're doing it for reading, at that point, a lot of other people can come through as well. People sometimes think that they know how this works. They do not. Nobody knows how this works unless you actually do it. And it is a lot more complicated and not as easy as people may think. They think that there's like a person right in front of me and I can see them and I can see their lips moving and I can hear them and I can see every single word they're saying. It doesn't work that way. We're not speaking full language. We're only speaking in like puzzle pieces that aren't always easy to understand. And so it comes through in bits and pieces. And so in order for me to be able to connect you with someone and to get something from that specific person, you kind of have to point me in the right direction, so that way I know what I'm looking for and who I'm trying to address or who I'm trying to speak to. I know people don't like that, and people say, oh, well, that's just like this. I'm like, I'm sorry, but that's just literally the way it's been. I don't like it either. I wish I could see them where I could say, hey, learn sign language, and then we can speak sign language, so that way I can hear exactly what you have to say verbatim. It does not work that way. It's never worked that way. Marie Sanchez. Hi, Ferny. Any messages for my daughter or any loved ones, please? Yeah, she's doing this. So there might be a necklace that's significant. I'm almost feeling, I almost want to open it. So I don't know if there's a locket that opens up or it's a necklace that has two pieces that connect. But I kind of want to do this whole like 2-bit thing. So there's a reference there. She also keeps thinking, she also keeps acknowledging, you know how like sometimes there are like, I won't say toys, but like musical things that like you can sing or you can do. You know what I'm reminded of? I don't even remember The Little Mermaid, where back in the day, there was a Little Mermaid doll and you push it and it sings, ah. So there might be like a thing that it's like a doll like that, or it could be something like Frozen where you push it or you do something to it and it makes a sound. But I feel like you might have an experience where something does a sound on its own and you didn't do anything. So look out for that, because I'm seeing something like that as well. She's also drawing a heart and she's putting herself in the heart with you. So I don't know if you have a It's funny because I want to say it's either a picture or a tattoo. So there might be something like that that's also connected with her. She also keeps showing me snowflakes. So there may be either snowflakes with her that are significant, or the snowflake image is special for some reason. So look out for that as well. Okay. Monica. Hi, can you tell me if I am ever going to marry anyone or meet someone? My name is Monica. Yeah, so Monica, so here's the thing. First of all, people may not understand how this works, but when you are trying really hard to have something or to find something or to get something, whether it's career, money, or love, you actually push it further away because your obsession or your need for it is so intense. All you're doing is praying to the universe through your feelings that you need this because you don't have it. So the universe, being the mirror that it is going to give you more of what you are needing, which is the desire of not having. It's like this like feedback loop that happens from this perspective or from this level. So what I suggest to people is stop trying to find, stop depending and making your life about this thing. Let it go, get to peace inside of yourself about it, and then you'll actually draw it to you. Because once you get to peace about love, if you're obsessed with finding love, all you're doing is pushing it away. If you get to peace with love in your life and where it's at and how it is in your life, what you're telling the universe is that this part of my life about love, I'm at peace with. And the universe is like, oh, well, what brings people who have peace about love? Love. Because they're not fighting it, they're not trying to get it, they're not missing it, they're at peace with it. There's a relationship there. And so they start to draw it to them. So you can help yourself to do that. I do think you will get married, but I feel like you might find yourself getting engaged or having to get engaged twice. I'm not sure if it's with different people. I almost want to say it's with the same person where you end up getting engaged and then you drop it or something happens and you pull it out and then you get engaged again and then you finally kind of get married. So you might actually have two engagements before you have a marriage. I do think that there is an opportunity for marriage for you, but it may not be for about 3.5, almost 4 years. So be aware of that. Okay. Person's name starts with an S, like Stan, like Stan, like it's a Stan or stay or Stan, STE or STA. That's what I think it sounds like. Okay. Going over here. Ooh, I got a headache. I have had like a bad headache today. Actually, the reason why is because one of my first mediumship sessions today was a head trauma, and so my body took it on, and so I had to go and take aspirin for that. And so then the next mediumship appointment was a head trauma again, which brought back the headache from the first one. I was like, oh my God. So now, I had to take I got to take medicine again to get rid of that because it wasn't going away on its own. And so just so you know, insight into like the mediumship world, like you take on energy sometimes. So now I've got that headache again. So might be another trauma, another head trauma that's kind of trying to come through here. September. Hello, do you see me? Cool, costume. Do you see me staying at my current job? Also, do you see me moving mid next year? I don't see you moving mid next year. I actually think you might move early next year. So I wouldn't be surprised if in about 4 or 5 months you move, because there might be a move by the 4 or 5 month mark. I do think there is going to be a job change as well, but I feel like the job change there's a gap. So it's kind of tricky because I can see you leaving your current job, but I'm not seeing you going to something else right away. I almost feel like there might be a 2 or 3 month gap. So be prepared for that in case you're not prepared for it. But towards the end of next year, I am seeing another job opportunity. It has to do with a media production company or with a theater company. Because I keep seeing like some of these groups, like when you, like, I don't know if you're in Houston or not, but like when you go to like Houston, the Alley Theater, the administrative area, or like, you know, they got to deal with certain things. I'm seeing that for some reason. So there's something there that is connected to this opportunity or this job that may come up towards the end of next year. Okay. Latoya. Hi, Edward asked me to marry him. What do you see? So, I feel like you might actually go through with it. But I would suggest, I can't tell you what to do. I can't tell you what to do. I would, if you're going to go through with it, agree to it, wait a year before you actually get married. Because if you do it and then you wait 2 months, 3 months to get married, I feel like you're going to end up coming out of the marriage about a year into it. But I feel like if you were to get engaged and then you wait a year, you might be able to work through some of the issues or challenges, and hold him more accountable than if you had just agreed and then gotten married. So that's what that's like just a suggestion. I'm not telling you what to do, but I kind of feel like you might go for it. Okay. Fonda Cosby. Is my new relationship gonna last, and am I gonna move soon? So there might be some challenges in about 3 months from now. So I would say probably in January, there might be some issues or challenges with the relationship, and y'all may even take a break or decide you want to spend some time apart. Here's the thing though, it could work, but you need to be patient and not be unrealistic with expectations, because it feels like this person's going to have to clean up or clear out some things in their life from their prior relationship, that is still affecting them. So they may need to clear out some things, and it may take them a little while. So if you go into the relationship and have no patience and have high expectations, and they're just human, they're working through stuff, you might actually cause new issues to come forward that might not benefit the opportunity for this relationship. So I would just say you might need to give them some time. But I as of right now, I'm kind of seeing this like change with it in about 3 to 4 months from now. So just be patient. Always hold people accountable, of course. I don't see a move for you right now. I do see a move in early 2023. So like in spring of 2023, maybe even as early as February 2023, I am seeing a move at that time for you. Okay. Yeah. Suli Booker. Are you able to connect with my mother and see if she has a message for me? Yeah, she's doing this. So she's making the gesture for baby. That can mean a couple of things. That could either mean that there is a baby with her in spirit that she's acknowledging that is with her, or there is a baby coming into the family soon because she's making that gesture. She also keeps acknowledging the month of May, which is the fifth month, or could also be the fifth of a month, but she's acknowledging that. She's also acknowledging, thank you. I don't know if you have either like prayer beads or a rosary, because I keep seeing beads that I feel like might be significant. So she's acknowledging something like this as well. She also keeps acknowledging that she has been trying to get your attention, or just to let you know she's around you, by affecting the electricity in your space, whether it be a light or TV or something. But she's acknowledging that she's been trying to get your attention to let you know she's around you. Also, birds are a sign from her. It's a unique kind of bird. I almost feel like it's a white bluish colored bird. So there's a bird coloring like that may be significant, or that may be a symbol from her. Okay, so look out for that. She also says that she says death is for those who no longer have work or have responsibilities in the physical. That doesn't mean that we do not love you. It simply means that death is for those who no longer have something to do in the physical world. Life is for the living, and I want you to live. So she's making it very clear that she wants you to focus on living, not on death. Okay? Shanti. Brianna, she was 8 when she passed in a car crash. I miss her. I would love to see if you could reach her. Yeah, she's actually with 2 other children. One of them seems like they're like around 3 or 4, and then another one's like a baby, or like like a baby, or like really small. So there's 2 other children with her that may be connected to you or to the family, because she's making reference to that. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine is significant. So either the sun symbol is going to be important, or the sunshine or the song is going to be significant. She also keeps acknowledging, if you see anything weird on a mirror or in the mirror of a picture, that is a sign from her. So to look out for that, because she's acknowledging that as well. Okay, let me bring somebody on because I'm getting behind in my time here, and I didn't realize I was that far into it. Probably because I've been talking too much, right? I'm like really talking today. Let's go here. Oh, it's getting hot. Okay. Hello.
Just
Hi.
put my lipstick on.
How you
Hi.
doing?
I was,
Question. Do you
um,
do do you do any form of art or painting?
uh-huh. I
Okay.
do. I play
Have you been
guitar and I
invited?
paint. Yep.
Have you been invited to contribute to an exhibit or to a project that is being worked on?
Aiden, can you just hold on 1 second? I'm
Sure.
on the phone with someone right now and talking to
Yeah.
my son. Um, I have recently, like tonight, been invited to collaborate on a project, a potential project for learning and development.
This is going to extend into your artistry. So just remember that I said that because when you say that I keep hearing this is the beginning, this is the beginning, this is the beginning. So know that this is important and you need to follow through 100%. And if you start to feel panicky, especially in the next month or two because of timelines or because of deadlines, that's okay. It's part of the process.
Okay,
Okay. What do
thank
you want to
you.
ask me about?
Um, okay. I'm going through a divorce. I'm going through a divorce.
Mhm.
I have an incredible boyfriend who's incredibly supportive. I am curious as to the timelines of when I will be free fully.
Mhm. You're going to have to file a restraining order or file something because there might be a little bit of a challenge between your ex and your new boyfriend that may come up. Has he tried reaching out to your boyfriend?
No.
Okay. FYI, he might like mess with something or trigger some things where he might either send some things to your and it's not I don't think that your new boyfriend has anything to worry about, but it's just like messing with people's heads, you know what I'm saying? So it's like something like that. I feel like you'll probably be done with there's a financial matter that has to be resolved in either December or January, and then I almost feel like you might be done with this by April.
Oh, that would be so good. Okay. I'm currently preparing to apply for a new role at my company,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm terrified. But at the same time, I'm also educated. Like I'm going through schooling again, and I'm trying my best to like skill myself up to be like like a candidate for stuff. And I need this. I need this for
Mm-hmm.
my mental health. I need it for my productivity. I need it to be like be able to support my children. Am I on the right path?
Yes and yes. Um, it's not even I wouldn't even consider it a no. So I do feel there is a shift in your role in 6 months. So there is a shift that I see in about 6 months from now. So even if you're going for a specific role, I'm not actually seeing a change until about 6 months from now. And it could just be timing. But I feel like everything that you would be gaining from this role would be experience needed for your next big career change. So it would
Okay.
just add on. It's like a stepping stone. And I think it's going to be a stepping stone for you. You would do it for about 2 years and then there's another stepping stone for you.
Okay.
Okay.
Any messages from my spirit guides or my past
Yeah.
family
Question.
members?
Do you know anyone by the name of Danielle or Daniela that's connected?
Oh, okay. So my ex-husband's name is Danielle,
Ah,
and my boyfriend's best friend slash ex-lover's name is Danielle.
okay.
So it's really
Oh,
complicated.
interesting.
Huh.
Okay. Let me
Yeah.
see.
Go there. Please go there.
Trying
Yeah.
to figure out.
Please, because that's a point of contention.
I want to say this is connected to your ex. Is there an older female connected to him, like a grandmother or a figure like that that's passed?
His mother was quite elderly when he was born. He was the
Okay.
last child out of nine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
She's
never got to
apologizing.
meet her.
She's apologizing. She's apologizing because there's a lot of trauma there for him. And I think that he's not fully recovered from all of that, and it might have been a contributing factor to the way he's responded in this relationship. She's apologizing to you because she feels that he could have made this work. And so she feels that he didn't work hard enough to make it work. So she's apologizing to you. She also says, thank you. Does your son or does one of your children look just like your husband when he was, when your ex-husband when he was a child?
Angelina
It's around
looks,
the eyes. It's around the eyes.
yeah, that's Angelina around the eyes. Yeah.
Okay. Because she keeps acknowledging one of the children looking just like him and just acknowledging that. She also keeps acknowledging, thank you. She's playing music. Do you know if she ever knew how to play music or she was involved with music?
I don't know because I never met her, and
Okay.
he wasn't like emotionally available enough to disclose a lot of stuff about his mother, but
Here's what I would say. Either look her up by name because there might be something out there that might show you that there was a musical connection, or she's talking about the child getting into music and this being a very significant thing for them and trying to push it. So that may be where she's going with it.
oh,
Okay. She also, thank you. She also, it's gonna sound weird. Did you have a weird thing happen with like a sewing iron? I'm sorry, an iron, like an iron that you like iron clothes. Did you have something weird happen with like a steamer or an iron?
every time I would iron, it was usually my grandmother's tablecloth that she made for me, and it was usually a very emotional experience for me. It was for family
Is
dinners.
there a Susie or Susan connected to one of them? Okay. Remember that I said that. I'm seeing the name Susan or Susie, so or Susanna, but there's a reference there. The thing about it is that I feel like I'm still talking to the other lady, and she was acknowledging the stuff with your ex, but then they're referring to a special or a significant experience with an iron where something weird happened during an ironing thing. And they're acknowledging this, and then they gave me that name. So there might be something that I kind of want to tie into. No, where is that? Susan Sarandon. I'm seeing Susan Sarandon. There's something there. I'm missing this. There's something that they're trying to make reference to. Um,
She shares the same name as my daughter. If it's the same woman, it's Angelina. I don't know if that helps you, helps guide you. Angelina.
your
My
mother-in-law?
daughter, my mother-in-law's name is Angelina, and my daughter's name is Angelina.
No, that's
She has the same eyes as her
yeah.
father.
She's telling me something. There's something about the iron or a situation where something funny happened with an iron or with the steamer. It's got a clothing thing because she's. Well, I'm sorry. Did she ever? Do you know if she ever actually if she used to iron or she was a seamstress or she ever did like anything with clothing?
I, so, I know limited stuff about my mother-in-law, but I do know that she was a cleaning lady in hotels. So
Ah, this is what it. Okay, so because I'm like, well, she's showing me the steamer thing. I'm like, where is this going, or what is she doing? I think she's just trying to give me like elements of herself, or trying to give me an understanding about
she
herself.
was
Uh,
very very like motherly,
yeah,
like always
yeah.
doing
Look,
all of
look her
like
up, but I definitely think that she's wanting to push the music thing with the child. So to keep your eye open to that.
okay.
Okay, all right. So, by the way, grandma might be the butterfly, so you will also have a butterfly connection to your grandma.
What about the doves? What's up with the doves, Ferny? I see them everywhere. Like no matter where I am in the
Yeah,
world, I get
yeah.
the doves. What's going
The
on with the
dove is from
doves?
your spirit guide. The
What are
dove
they
is from
trying
your
to
spirit.
tell me? Like,
You have a past life where you were a nun, and you were supposed to be, yeah, you were supposed to be married. It was in France. You were supposed to be married off. You were not married off. You actually ended up joining a convent and you became a nun. And so you were trying to pursue and find God in that lifetime. And there was a lot of like craziness within that convent or within the mission that you were at. And so you kind of felt like betrayed by God, or kind of like you didn't find God in that. You just found people and, ways of being. And so in this lifetime, you're going to have an opportunity to find God in a much more pure way that is much, much grander and obvious to you than what you had in that past life. The dove is your spirit guide reminding you of your connection to God and the Holy Spirit. So it is a sign to you from God that what you're experiencing. It's almost like my 222. When I see my 222, it is my symbol that what I'm experiencing is what's supposed to be happening. Accept it, whether it's good or bad. Same
That's
thing
so
for you.
helpful. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
You're welcome,
Do
sweetheart.
you have a name for my spirit guide? I'll end it at that because
Yeah.
I know that people are going to get mad at you. I
Yeah,
know
I
how
know. They're
this
like,
goes.
Freddie. Yeah,
So,
Emily. Emily.
Emily.
Hmm. You might have had an imaginary friend when you were a kid that is a similar name like Emily or Elizabeth, but it's like an Emily.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank
All right.
you.
You're welcome, darling. You take care of yourself.
You too.
Bye, Mama.
Bye bye.
All right, let's see. Going over here. All right, 5, 4, 3. Oh, hello.
Hello.
Hi, sweetheart. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. What do you want to ask me about?
Well, honestly, it was me and my family. We wanted to ask you if my uncle had anything to say to the family.
Hello. Hi.
Hello. Hi.
All right. So with the uncle, the first thing he shows me, he keeps showing me pressure in his chest. Y'all know if there was an effect on his upper chest or heart area before he passed away?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. He also makes me feel like it almost felt like a pop. So he's almost making me feel this pop sensation. Do you know if there was a rupture or there was I don't say rip, but a rupture or something that kind of popped?
The heart.
Yeah.
Okay. He also keeps acknowledging the. Thank you. Do you know if there's a Tony or an Anthony name that's referenced?
Tony. Your Anthony name?
He's showing me this.
No.
It's either Tony, Anthony, or Tomas, but he's showing me a name like this. So there's a reference to this. So either he has a connection to that name and he's trying to bring it up for some reason, or there's someone with him in spirit who's got that name that he's trying to acknowledge that is with them. But he's bringing that name. It's either that, it's A-N-T or T-O-N. There's a name like that. So he's acknowledging that. He also keeps acknowledging, thank you. Do you know if he had a funny thing where he would make a joke or he would do something with his thumb because he's like trying to mess with my thumb?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
he's acknowledging that. He
Yeah.
also keeps acknowledging the shirts. Did y'all make shirts for him, or did someone want to design a shirt and they didn't get around to it yet?
We want to do it for him. The family. We
Okay,
all want to
because
do
he's
it
like
for
acknowledging,
him.
like, do I have to wait in line? So he's like making a joke about it, almost like giving y'all a hard time. So he's
Yeah,
acknowledging that as
we
well.
all want to do something for her because that's her brother, and we all wanted to do something with his face on it and pictures of them. So yeah.
Got it. So he's just acknowledging this. He also keeps acknowledging for the timing of his passing. Do you know if he passed around a birthday or a day of significance?
No.
My anniversary.
Okay, because he's acknowledging the timing of it or being bad timing, so he's making reference to that. There's a baby with him as well. Do you know if someone's trying to get pregnant?
My daughter.
He's acknowledging
My
there's a baby
daughter's
coming.
pregnant right now.
Oh, perfect. He knows about the baby coming. So he's acknowledging the baby as well. He also keeps acknowledging the Christmas lights or the lights that never got taken down. Do you also have Christmas lights up somewhere?
No.
Okay, he's showing me like a strand of Christmas lights and he's blinking them. Did y'all have something weird happen with something that looks like Christmas lights or bulbs that started to blink, or they were not blinking in the same sections and they were doing some funny business and then they corrected themselves? Remember that I said that. That's okay. Remember that I said that because he's showing me this and then he's like showing me that he's going to get your attention or he's tried to do something to get y'all's attention. He also keeps acknowledging, thank you. Do you know if he liked the Astros or he liked sports?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Do you know if he liked the Astros or he liked sports?
Sports, yes.
Okay. He's showing me, thank you. Do you have a picture of him with the jersey on?
No.
It's like a bluish colored jersey.
No.
It's either a team shirt or a jersey. There's a picture of him. Okay?
Yeah, it is a
Someone
blue
get okay. So he's acknowledging this, and it might be connected, or it might have a sports thing because he's showing me this, and he's showing me this blue, and then also a sport. So there's a reference there. He also keeps acknowledging. Thank you. Did you lend him some money?
No.
Okay. He's talking about paying someone back, so he owes someone money. So either someone loaned him some money, yeah, because like the last time that he ate out, or the last time he ate, they ate out. He's talking about like owing someone, or he owes them a dinner. So do you know if someone took him out right before he passed away and they paid for dinner and now he owes them?
Mm-mm.
Mm-hmm. It's got where he lived, either where he lived or where y'all live. If you go to the main street and then you go down a little bit, is there a restaurant right there that y'all would sometimes go to?
Yes.
It's like okay. Do you know if someone bought him some food like right before he passed, and then he just never paid them back, or he said, "I got you," and then he didn't get around to paying them back?
Yeah.
Okay. He's like saying, "I owe y'all money, all right?" So he's like letting you know he still owes you. So just FYI.
Yeah.
He also says he pushed your foot or messed with your foot when you were sleeping. So if you experienced something happening with your foot or your leg, he says that was him trying to like tap you or get your attention by like smacking your foot. So he's making reference to that or acknowledging that as well. He says he loves you. So he wants you to know that he loves you. He also says that he struggled more than people realize, and I almost want to say that he would sometimes suffer from depression and wouldn't always tell people what he was going through because he makes me feel like it was not an easy thing for him. He says he wants you to know that he has finally found the peace he's always wanted, and so he wants you to know that. He is acknowledging your mom. Your mom's still alive? Okay. He just had happy birthday. Are we within 30 days of a birthday?
No.
Okay, he just said happy birthday. So either he may have passed within 30 days of your mom's birthday, or he's acknowledging your mom and the birthday. Because he's just acknowledged mom and he just talked about a birthday.
Okay.
Okay. I'm asking him if he can clarify because he's still sticking with it. He's sticking with it. 30th. No, the 30th. The 30th. Is there a birthday on the 30th?
My daughter.
Okay. Oh, okay. So I might be mixing it up. He's acknowledging your mom. Say hello to your mom. Then he's acknowledging the 30th birthday and wishing them a happy birthday. So he's acknowledging that. He also keeps acknowledging, thank you. There's a little dog with him. So he's got a little like dog that is just like a crazy dog. So he's got a dog with him as well. And he says that the baby's there. So he's acknowledging that. Okay. He's with you, sweetheart. He's with you.
I have one more question. Did he have a drug problem? Or he
had a lot of different problems with that. He actually had a drinking problem and a drug problem. He also says that sometimes he would kind of like make up stuff or mix stuff up just because he was like desperate. But he also said he would go through periods where he was dry or he was like, he says he's dry, that he wouldn't do anything. And so he says he wouldn't always like let y'all know, or he wouldn't always like do it around y'all because he didn't want people to think badly of him. He cared a lot about what people thought about him. And sometimes it hurt whenever people would see him in a different way. He's almost like, I didn't want to be like, I don't want people to think of me the way I was before. So he's just acknowledging, but he says that he's okay. The thing about his passing though, is I do think it was a contributing factor to what happened, but I don't feel like that's the main cause. I feel like there were other aspects of it as well, because he keeps putting to his chest and his heart. Okay. All right, Mama, you take care of yourselves. Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, sweetheart.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Got your mama. He did.
All right, guys. Done for the evening. So I will be back in about 2 minutes or so for our study group time, okay?